Hiya, Sophie here with another Sims 4 PS4 build. Today is part 6, the final part of the retail centre. And so in this build I'll be finishing off the exterior of the whole lot and also adding in another shop, which is going to be a salon. So I'm just starting here with the exterior. One of the things I wanted first was something on the back of the building to make it look a little less boring, and I thought that maybe it could have a fountain feature where the water will spray up. So if you're on the other end of the street, then you'll see like intermittent water splashing up from below. I don't think in the end the Sims, like when I went into the gameplay, I don't think it actually reached that far, but I left it there anyway because it's just kind of a nice background. I chose brick for the walls because it kind of had that like Americana small town sort of small shop vibe. But I chose like a brick pattern that had color options so that it sort of looks like there was this red brick as the base layer when a shop moved in, but then maybe like the store owners painted over in other colors, so like the modern clothing store painted over in black and the kind of more quote unquote fancy store painting it over in white or grey, just to make it more like their kind of vibe. But all the others left it as this red brick look, which I think is one of my favourite parts of this build actually. I then went around and just put a load of trimming and columns in to separate the layers and separate each shop. It also gives it even more of that sort of like Americana feel to it as well. The tricky thing with the columns that I've found is that what you'll see in a second, when you put them in and you try to extend them and make them longer, it seems like when you get rid of the walls or you go down a level, the columns seem to like go all the way up. So in gameplay it looks really strange because you've got these poles sticking up above the level that you're on. But you just have to deal with it, I suppose. And then I move on to the garden bit in the middle of the walkway of the street. My idea for this garden area was just like a kind of separation, and it sort of creates like a one-way system, which is obviously great for modern corona times, if you have that like separation in the middle, and it just makes the top area a lot more natural and pretty and invites nature in. I found that the walls I was trying to put in, the fences, were all quite big and bulky, and I wanted it to feel a little bit softer. So I did a similar thing as I did in the garden shop, by putting in hedges instead of fences. It just made it a little bit softer, but still gave it the same like height and division that I was looking for. Choosing the trees as well for this was really tricky, and I sized them down a lot because I wanted them to just be as tall as the buildings, and I didn't want them to overpower or take away a lot of the sunlight on the street as well. So because it was just looking very, very green and I wanted some colour in there, I threw in a few flowers intermittently between the bushes, which makes it just feel a little bit more colourful and fun. And then I was just adding in a few finishing touches like the exit signs that bring it to realistic life and the bins. I haven't got the eco pack yet for The Sims, so I don't know, but I would really love to see recycling bin options as well, because that's kind of what I was missing to make it feel right for what I was hoping for. I also seem to be having this issue recently where I'll come back to a build and something will have disappeared from the last time that I've done it. So like I had to put these posts back in again. But yeah, I put these flowers either side just to fill that void between the stairs and the walls. I don't know if it was needed, I just felt like it was a bit sparse. So I decided last minute to put in one more shop for this retail centre. I decided on a salon because I was kind of thinking about whether I wanted another actual retail store, but it just felt like too many for one lot. And really, I think like when you think of a retail centre or a shopping centre, there's always going to be at least 3 hair salons, so this one had to have 1. So I tried to go quite typical for this. So I chose like a lot of like fancy or stylish, modern looking furniture and accents. So a lot of like bare metal in the light shades, and the desk there that has the interesting leg stands. The color scheme in the end was a little bit odd, I think. I'm not sure that many people would like it, but I just wanted it to seem a little bit different from the typical like black and white aesthetic that a lot of salons seem to go for or opt for. So I chose like a turquoisey blue soft pastel color with yellow to match the metal legs there. I also chose this diamond wallpaper just because it's one of my favorites from The Sims, and I kind of wish there were better wallpaper options and more options, because this is the one I always seem to go for, because there's not many sort of modern or stylish looking options there. And I added these pictures of what looks like Liz Taylor, Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn, just because I guess they kind of feel a little bit salon-y. And then I was really playing with the colour scheme again, because there was something weird in my mind about having a yellow wall with black and white pictures on them. But I just went back to it and, you know, I think it's fine. I think they stand out, and that's kind of the idea. And again, one of my favourite things with building is rugs, but there's no reason to put a rug in a hair salon because you can't clean it. So I just chose like this kind of fancy decal for the floor instead. And then I was just adding in the little bits of clutter. So like the hair dryers and towels and stuff, and the wardrobe that probably houses like all their capes. I think they're called capes. I don't know what they're called actually, the things they put around you, but I'll just call them capes. And then I chose these fancy looking seats, which they may not be expensive, like, you know, in reality you can probably find some cheaper dupes for expensive stuff like that. And a lot of hair salons like to seem quite fancy, I guess, very stylish. And they matched the dressing chairs rather, that are in front of the mirror too. So after just putting those little bits in and finishing off a few bits outside, I realised I wanted another bathroom area, just because there's only one on the lot. So I thought a salon is the perfect place to add in another toilet. And I just kept this one really basic. I do that a lot with the toilets just because I guess there's not a lot I consider putting in a bathroom that's like decorative or interesting. And just because the lot is so big already, I didn't want to add loads more things to it. So it just stayed very basic, similar color scheme to the salon itself, and the same kind of lights as well. And then I just add in a couple of plants, which I often use in bathrooms now because they're quite slim and easy to fit alongside sinks. And then I also thought how the center itself didn't have like a break room for employees. So I thought I wanted to add that in. I started with a little shower room, which isn't always typical, but I know there are some retail centers and stores and things that do have on-site showers for employees. Just like if you need to refresh up or get ready to leave and stuff like that. They do exist, so I thought I'd add one in just because, as you're going to see, the break room itself is a little bit weird, but I want to treat my employees right, so the shower was a little caveat, I guess. I didn't want it to be huge, but I wanted it to have like a sofa, which in the end I couldn't do because I wanted an area where you could sit and eat lunch, and the sofa just wasn't practical for that. So I got rid of the sofa and added in a little table area instead. When I chose the tropical wallpaper, I thought it was quite nice and fun, and like a little bit modern, but in the end I just think that the whole look of the room still feels very outdated and bland and just a little bit weird, especially with these pictures I added in, but I thought that would help with the vibe of like how weird employee break rooms often are anyway. So I just add in a few finishing touches here, like the posters on the blank walls outside, which are quite a staple of shopping areas. And I chose to put in another fountain at the front, just because it gave it a more interesting entrance point for the whole center, and because you don't really get to see the back one that much anyway. And then the last thing I do is to just make sure that when it goes to nighttime, that the shops themselves look lit up and there's ample lighting for the street and everything. So I just add in a few little lights on the walls just to help brighten it up a bit when it gets to nighttime. So before the reveal, as you can see, one of the problems I had with The Sims and the seasons was that I couldn't change the weather from rain to sunny, so I had to get a little bit of help with that. So here's the final reveal. I think I'm very happy with the overall look, especially the outside of it. What you'll notice is that the weather station I put in is not really visible to any members of the public. I hid it off with a little wall as well. I really love the posters on that wall. I think they especially look great in the nighttime, and it just gives it a really great like small retail center vibe to it. I really love the fountain here and the whole entrance, and I think that the overall look really fits in with the new crest aesthetic of the town with the little cart going past and everything. It just feels very cozy and homey. The salon itself I was really happy with. It doesn't quite function like a normal salon would, but I just really like the look of it, and I think that all the little details of the trolleys and the chairs and the desk just really make it feel very realistic, especially with that kind of open book that looks like an appointments book or something. The desk in particular is one of my favourite parts, purely because it relates to my childhood dream, which was to become a salon receptionist. Not even a hairdresser, just literally the receptionist. I think the bathroom ends up looking good. It's simple, but it does what it needs to do. There's not much more to say about the bathroom. The employee room, like I said, it does look quite dingy but really weird, which I think is quite appropriate to a lot of employee break rooms. Like, everything just seems really mismatched. And like I said with the last build, the sad thing is in the seasons when it gets to autumn, it just takes all the colour away from all the flowers, so the reveal doesn't look as nice as it did in the building process because all the vibrancy is just lost. But I think the exterior is probably one of my favourite parts because of all the layers, and I love the idea of kind of like most of the shops are elevated on another level, and it just feels very communal and open and just really like interesting. I also really love when it gets to nighttime. I think that the shops and the window displays look really great when they're lit up, especially the bookstore one. I just love that window display. And the store signs, especially the neon ones, just really pop, and it just feels really cozy and just has a really great small town sort of feel to it. So yeah, in the end, I think that they were a pretty successful set of builds, and the overall lot itself is definitely one of my favourite builds so far. Let me know in the comments which was your favourite. I'd love to know which part is your favourite. And I hope you enjoyed, and hope you subscribe and take a look at my other videos. And yeah, bye bye for now.